My camera is so blurry, but we're going to get through it. There we go. It knew what I was saying. It's Natty Day. It's National Championship Monday. TCU Horned Frogs, Georgia Bulldogs, NS9BETS. We're ready to roll.
Cody, did you change the intro video?
What?
Did you change the intro video?
No. Why?
It looked different. Maybe I don't pay attention during it. I don't remember a fella tossing the ball up. I remember the Bellagio.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see
There's
all that.
the little things. Yeah, I didn't make it.
Yeah, but you added to it.
No, I didn't add it.
Someone added to it.
No, it's the same. It's always been 36 seconds.
Yeah, but somebody adjusted some things.
Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But anyway.
Okay.
It's Natty Day.
Natty Day.
It's my birthday.
It's your birthday. Happy birthday, Cody.
Birthday.
What are you, 24?
I wish. I'm 26. As you are watching this right now, I am probably strolling into the FanDuel Victory Bar at the Meadowlands Racetrack, getting ready to throw my bets down and celebrate and watch a damn good football game.
Man, you know what I miss, Cody? When I was in Vegas and I was actually walking up, and even in West Virginia, just walking up and handing them cash to place a bet. I don't got to do that anymore, but I kind of miss it.
Dude, I can't wait
to do it. It feels more real.
That's what I'm a slide of a cool $100 bill and say, put it on. You'll find out who I put it on. Got to watch to the end to see who I put it on.
Real quick, how'd your Sunday go?
Oh, it was not great.
I had a good day. Sunday, I had another good day.
So the Jets kind of screwed everything up.
Ooh.
They were involved with a lot.
Yeah.
Had them in a parlay.
Oh,
I had them. Yeah, I had the money line by themselves.
Yeah.
So far I've won 2 bets. We still have one. I have 1 bet left. That's Jamal Williams, 2 or more touchdowns. So
it's not a bad bet though. So God, I don't even remember what I ended up going with tonight. I think, or tonight, God, yesterday. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
What did I end up going with? I think I took the Packers here. And of course, I know I win that bet and you win yours, obviously. But
Jamal Williams is going to set the record over Barry Sanders, man.
I'm going to be honest.
He did.
I know I placed a bet. I just can't remember where I placed it. I got too many of these things going on. But I had a good day. I had a teaser you'd be proud of, even though the teaser would have won if I would have just parlayed them. I teased down the Bills down to 2.5.
Okay.
I teased down the Jets down to 9.5.
Okay.
And then I also teased the Texans to 9. So I would have won them all in a straight parlay.
Right.
But I was way more comfortable where I was. It was plus 140.
That's why you do a tease.
And that's why you don't tease across 0, Cody.
Right. Speaking of tease, might be doing a lot of teases for basketball. I know we're mid-season on basketball now, but we got to transition to something.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure something out here during.
We got to transition to something once this is over.
Because essentially we have about a month.
A month left of football.
Of literally just one day of the week.
Yeah.
Maybe I just cash out my cool thou I got rolling with me right now, and maybe I use as good a Bradenton. Who knows?
Whoa! Breaking news!
Kidding.
Breaking news!
I just teased him.
Tyler's committing to Bradenton. We have it on recording. I mean, I would appreciate it because that means I'd pay less for the condo.
I got lots going on in my life right now. I gotta save some money.
Too much beer to drink. All right, let's get into it. We're gonna break. We're gonna break this down team by team. Then we'll talk about the bets. First up, we're gonna talk about the team of destiny. That's the TCU Horned Frogs, the Hypno Toads, Max Duggan, Quentin Johnson. That whole team is just, they don't quit. That's what I like about them.
Yeah, I was thinking about this podcast earlier, and I was like, how do I really get into TCU? And there's no other way really to explain them than they're just gritty as hell.
Right.
They're just a gritty football team. They're not talented, really. They don't do anything special. You watch them, nothing like jumps off the page at you. They're just gritty.
You know who they remind me of?
Who's that?
An NFL comparison. The New York Giants. Not a lot of talent going, but they figure it out in the end.
But that was a cool cover they had.
That was a cool cover they had.
A great cover. Really love that cover. That was a big cover for me.
But yeah, like looking at this team, I really see like first off, I want to say Max Duggan got robbed of the Heisman. I think out of all the prospects that were up for it, I think Caleb Williams was the least deserving, and he ended up getting it. I could make a better case for CJ Stroud. I could make a better case for even Bryce Young again, even though I don't think he was a top
I think
top
Bryce
four.
Young had a better case this year than last year.
Right, but having 2 losses on your record, that'll diminish your chances. And then even the quarterback for Georgia, his name is Stetson Bennett. I wanted to say something else. That was not the name that was coming to mind. But even Stetson Bennett, because he's a guy, we'll talk about Georgia here soon, but he's a guy, he's returning. He had a lot of guys on his defense that are the ones that basically gave him a national championship last year. They left. They went to the league, and he was the last piece that really stayed. And he's been holding it together pretty well. But back to Max Duggan, that's a guy that'll do everything for you. He will throw the ball downfield. He will run the ball downfield. He will go until his heart quits, and that's a real thing that could happen to him because he almost didn't play another down of football because of it. He has a bad heart. He had to get surgery before the season. It's crazy, this story of Max Duggan. It really feels like, maybe not to the same extent, but a little bit Joe Burrow-esque, that LSU team of destiny. Who can stop them? Type of feel to this team.
To go back to Duggan, and I think it really shows that the NCAA, with all the changes they've made, they've got to bump back the Heisman voting one more week. They got to get through the conference championship games before they vote on a Heisman. If you watch the conference championship game, there's no way you don't vote for Max Duggan if you watch that game.
Right.
Even though they lost. And by the way, USC lost. Caleb Williams as a Heisman is just a joke.
I agree.
But to get back to TCU in general, I don't know how they beat Georgia here. It's going to have to be straight grit. They're going to have to make it ugly.
It is going to be an ugly game. It's going to be a high-scoring, ugly game.
In order for TCU to win this game, they have to make this game ugly. They got to force some turnovers. They've got to be able to run the ball, which they haven't. They had some pretty good success against Michigan doing so, and Michigan's really tough against the run. Aside from that, it's hard for me to really get excited for TCU to win this game because
I don't know how you're not excited.
It's hard for me to see them winning this game.
They're a team that doesn't quit, and we saw that when they played Michigan. Everybody thought Michigan was going to be that team of destiny this year. Me being someone who follow
you were
not follow. I don't
year.
follow it. I don't follow the Big Ten, but if you're a college football fan, you know about the Big Ten, and you know that Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines always have a letdown game. And the fact that it wasn't against Ohio State this year, it was going to be in the playoff. That was going to be their letdown game. That's just me seeing trends in teams over the years. That's what I saw. I saw it coming. But
you know what I'll say to add to that, Cody, real quick?
Go for it.
Is that going into that game, Michigan was a team that they will pound you to death, and they will lean on you and lean on you. And TCU being a Big 12 team, I think most people like myself, and I ended up being on TCU, but most people like myself are thinking Big 12, they're going to get introduced to big boy football here.
Right.
And they showed Michigan some big boy football.
Right. And that's coming from a team that was predicted to be last in the Big 12, predicted to go, or last season, what, they went 5-7.
Yeah, they've been
Nobody,
bad for a while.
they've been bad, and they're the first team from Texas to reach the CFB playoff and reach the championship. Because, horns down. But this team is just, I find it so hard not to believe in them. I mean, they have, as an offense, they average 41.07 points per game. They average 474 yards per game. They just offensively they're huge. They just get it done.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to put it. They find a way to get it done, no matter how ugly it is. And they've done it all year. They've just found a way to get it done.
Right. Now, look at this team defensively. I think where you really see this team shine is in their defensive backs. The biggest standout being Travius Hodges-Tomlinson, the corner. He is fantastic. I believe, was he the one that had the pick against one of the picks against
Sure.
JJ McCarthy? Probably. Sure. But anyway, he's a lockdown corner. That's really where they strive, is locking down the pass. And with a team like Georgia, who I feel like they've leaned on the pass because of Stetson Bennett. I don't know. You may know better than me. I don't watch a lot of Georgia football.
Yeah, Georgia is, I think, a little more similar to Michigan, in that they'll lean on you, but they do have more of a passing game, obviously, than Michigan, because Michigan had none because JJ McCarthy was dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
But Stetson Bennett, if you make him actually play, or if you make him be the dude, you might have some success.
Right. Right.
Or which essentially comes down to what they did to Michigan, where they made Michigan and JJ McCarthy be the dude. And McCarthy had some success driving him back. But if you do the same thing as Stetson Bennett, TCU is going to be in their type of wheelhouse.
Right. Now here's the thing that's going to make this game a barn burner. TCU does let up almost 400 yards per game. They allow 243, on average, 243.2 yards per game passing and 204.5 rushing per game. So this is going to be let's just say it's safe to take the over in this one.
Oh, I love the over in this one.
But
I don't even know what it is, but I love it.
I think it's like 62.5.
Yeah, I love it.
But like we've said, even this defense, comparative to the offense, they're the same mindset. They're just, we're going to get it done.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they know their brothers on the other side of the ball are going to do what they got to do. It's a very, I know like people were saying, oh, TCU showed up to LA. They were partying. They were happy to be there. And then Georgia was all business. I think that's an indicator of them being happy with each other. You want a team that's happy, a team that is a team. They have the camaraderie. You don't want people that don't talk to each other, that are just like, all right, let's go get the job done. You want that camaraderie to get you through the game, because you want to be the guy on offense that's going to play for the guy on defense, and the guy on defense is going to play for the guy on offense.
I think that also just comes back to the difference in Kirby Smart and Sonny Dykes. Sonny Dykes is kind of a laissez-faire type of dude, and it's shown with what he's put together with this team in his first year. Kirby Smart, I mean, to his credit, back-to-back years in the national championship game, he's been there. He runs a tight ship. It is what it is. It works for him. I don't put much into any of that type of stuff.
Yeah, I do. I love it, especially at the college level. I think you have to think about that stuff.
I put nothing into it. I just think it depends on who you are and how you run your program.
It's all fodder to you.
Yeah, it's just how you run your program. I mean, some people are going to be tight ship, some people aren't. And it all depends on what type of team you have. TCU has the type of team that, I mean, they're not supposed to be here.
Right. Now let's move on to Georgia. Tell me about this Georgia team. All I know is Stetson Bennett came back and a lot of the defensive guys left.
They're still wildly talented. Like probably a top 4 talented team in the nation, obviously. Their one deficiency really is their quarterback. And he's 25 fucking years old. Like,
Right.
go away. Nobody wants you anymore. Go away, except for Georgia fans. They run the ball well. They play really good defense. I think they really met probably their most talented team last week in Ohio State, because I think Ohio State's more talented than Alabama is. And really anybody that, I'm just talking talent, just pure talent. I think that is the most talent they would see all year. But I also think one part to look at their matchup with Ohio State last week is what we saw CJ Stroud able to do with his legs. And we didn't see that with CJ Stroud ever in his career. And we're going to see Max Duggan do a lot of stuff like that. They're really susceptible to a quarterback that's able to run. They probably will match up a little better with a guy that is really keying on that, because Max Duggan is a true dual threat quarterback. But CJ Stroud is not athletic. He's slightly athletic. Max Duggan's kind of a dude, and he's a tough dude.
Right.
I think we might, if he's able to do what Stroud was able to do with his legs last week, that's where they're going to be vulnerable, I think.
I'd have to agree that they're not going to be able to stop a quarterback who can do everything. He doesn't play quarterback. He plays football. He's one of those type of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And those are my favorite type of quarterbacks, because he's just going to do whatever he has to get it done. Bring up some stats on this matchup. Or for Georgia. I mean, Georgia averages about 39.36 points per game. They allow 14.79 points per game. They average almost 500 yards per game. 300. They average 300 allowed. Sorry. They average almost 300 in the air, then about 225 on the ground, or 201 on the ground. But I had a thought and I lost it now. Shit. I was talking too fast and I forgot what I was going to say.
Use that brain, Cody.
I know, the brain's just shut off now.
Brain ain't here. Well, here's what I'll say real quick.
Go for it.
I think Georgia got away with some things last week because they didn't have – Ohio State did not have a running back, a true running back. TCU does have some dudes that can run the football.
Yes.
This isn't TCU of even like 10 years ago, me, or 5 years ago, or 3 years ago, or last year ago. They're not the same team. They're not this like lockdown defense that's going to suffocate you to death. They're not quite there. TCU still should be able to move the ball on the ground a decent bit, and Max Duggan, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
With those legs, you never know.
Right, and I remembered what I was about to say. Did I fucking lose it again? Oh, good Lord. Georgia. Georgia has, over this season, has played down to their opponent.
They have.
They had played a close game to Kent State.
Yep.
Played a close game to Kent State's the only one that
Missouri.
Missouri. Sorry, Kent State's the only one that comes to mind because it's the same day as my brother's wedding.
Yeah.
So you have those. There's a couple others where they just kind of played down to their opponent. They didn't blow them out. They just kind of were like, okay, all we have to do is win, because we know we're going to keep our top spot. We're going to stay in the top 4. It doesn't matter. Now, I think we also saw that last week with Ohio State. Not to say Ohio State was a bad team at all, but to say that they kind of just played on the same level, when you would expect a team trying to go back to the national championship, to bring it a little more and say, yeah, we belong. I think they kind of just played to the level of Ohio State, and then they ended up just winning. You know, it wasn't a dominant win to me.
They won by 1
Exactly.
because Ohio State decided to shit down their leg at the 35-yard line because Ryan Day decided he had
all right,
no
all
idea how
right.
to
Get
call
your
play
bias
anymore.
out of this. Get the we're
But what I truly want to say here is that Ohio State made Stetson Bennett try to go win a game, and Stetson Bennett, to his credit, did,
but barely.
but it took everything he had, and it was not pretty, and it took a lot of Ohio State mess ups to get there.
Right.
If you make Stetson Bennett be the dude to win you the game as the other team, you have a good shot here.
Right. And that's where you got to talk about the weapons. His favorite receiver, Bennett, is had his name here.
Bowers?
Yeah, Brock Bowers, tight end.
Yep.
On the season, he's got 6 touchdowns, 790 yards, which also Stetson Bennett can throw the ball around. He doesn't have one guy. So that's what you have to be weary of as well. But yeah, Brock Bowers is the big target. He's the big tight end. Probably going to be what would you say? Top two round pick.
Problem. I mean, he's a dude.
Right. I'd say he's almost at that Kyle Pitts level, but I think he would be better than Kyle Pitts in the NFL is.
I think he might be he's almost like a Freiermuth type of deal.
Right.
And I'm not just like he's a white tight end. I'm not just saying that, but he seems to be in that where he projects a little better in the NFL.
Right. But he's also bigger. Like I'd say he's like almost Gronk size.
I love how we're just using we go from Freiermuth to as baby Gronk to Gronk to.
Well, the thing is after seeing Freiermuth in
give me all the white tight ends.
After seeing Freiermuth in the league, you kind of realize, okay, he doesn't have the size as Gronk. He doesn't have the strength as Gronk. I think Bowers does. He has that ability to just run someone over too. So that's something to be weary of.
It's going to be really interesting how they match him up here.
Right.
Georgia running back wise, they just use multiple weapons.
Yeah, their top back is Kenny McIntosh, 779 yards, 10 touchdowns. That tells you everything you need to know. Dude only has 779 yards. It's a committee back there.
Yeah, they got 3 dudes that can run the ball really well. And they've been like this for a while where they just always have 3 guys and they'll just run it down your throat.
Right. So, we broke down the teams. Do we need to break them down even more?
I'm good on breaking them down more.
Here's something.
What you got?
Here's something to be weary of here. Georgia averages 80 rushing yards allowed per game. So is that bad for Max Duggan, or is it just bad for the running game in general, like running back wise? Like, can they get away with some running back run or quarterback runs?
So I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Georgia's just up big in a lot of games and forces teams to throw the ball.
Right.
So even at 80 a game, I think you got to look more at closer matchups, see how teams have run the ball against them. I don't think TCU will shy away from running the ball here. And I think the big thing is really going to be the quarterback run.
Right.
And it's going to be out of structure, Duggan just scrambling around and trying to do what he can.
Right. Well, now that we've broken down the teams, let's look at the bets. These are the lines right now. TCU plus 13. Over-unders at 63.5. I still love that number. I feel like this game's going to go to about 75-ish. What do you think?
I'm with you. I love the over here. Yeah. I think TCU can do enough just out of structure in their offense. I think TCU can score like 20 points, but I just don't think they have enough talent to be able to hang with Georgia here.
Okay, I think this could be more of a shootout than we think. I think TCU is going to do some things, maybe throwback Boise State-esque, I think, to just try and win this game. They're going to pull out all the stops, all the trick plays. They're going to do everything they can because they're the team with nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Georgia, they're defending champs. They got to defend their championship. If they lose, it's like, okay, is the SEC really where it's at? Because you have two teams leaving the Big 10 or Big 12 going to the SEC who didn't even make it to the playoff. And now the Big 12, with how competitive it was this year, is there, not that this is actually going to happen, but people might be questioning, is there a balance of power in the Power 5 conferences, with all this going on? And then you have 2 or 3 decent teams joining the Big 12 in BYU, Cincinnati, and UCF. Yeah, UCF. So it's really a battle of which conference is superior. I know everybody's going to say SEC, and I agree. SEC is basically half a step from the NFL. It's just a bigger stage. But from the grit and the grind that we've seen in the Big 12 this year, I think it's safe to say that this is a battle between 2 top conferences in the nation.
So I've been back and forth on this bet all day.
Yeah.
I think Georgia runs them out of the water, but I have no desire to root for an SEC team because I think the SEC is overrated. I think there are 2 top teams and then a bunch of shit. But I just don't see how TCU can keep up with Georgia here. I think they were able to beat Michigan last week with I think Michigan was a good bit overrated. They beat Ohio State, sure. Yep. I'm an Ohio State fan. We know that.
Ohio State, I think Ohio State, to be fair, was not at their full potential this year. Still needed another year out of Stroud because he is coming back, right?
No, he's done.
He's done?
Yeah.
Well, then that was disappointing from Stroud.
Yeah, correct. But
disappointing career, in my opinion.
Right. I completely agree. But if Stroud played like he did against Georgia, Ohio State beats Michigan by 30.
Right, exactly.
Which is what I think it'll take from Max Duggan is a Stroud type of effort because Stroud played out of his mind against Georgia.
Yeah.
I don't know that Max Duggan has that level in him.
Right. Now, before I talk about who's going to win and what spread pick I'm doing, let's take a look at some props. I'm going to be the prop guy. Did it switch over? Yeah, it switched over. Okay. So we got some receiving props. Brock Bowers, 62.5 yards. Quentin Johnston, 81.5. Sure, you can take those overs. But a guy that I think is going to not make a difference, but he's going to be the guy that Max Duggan has to look for is Jared Wiley. He doesn't get many yards at all, but we know Georgia's defense is always good. They're going to be covering people. Like, he's going to need an outlet. I think Jared Wiley is going to be that outlet guy, and I like taking the over 16.5 here. I think he might top out at like 18 with like three quick passes to get him a couple yards. I like that bet. Jared Wiley over 16.5 yards. Go back to the quarterbacks. I was looking at that earlier, passing props. I like looking at this. You have Max Duggan over. I don't know why they have Stetson Bennett here twice with different odds. That's weird. Oh, 2.5. But anyway, I like Max Duggan over 1.5 passing touchdowns at plus money, plus 102 there. I mean, how else is he going to get it? I mean, I also think he's going to run one in. But we'll
Speaking
look at
of
that
which, Cody, real quick, are we going to get to that rushing prop right there? Because I think the Max Duggan rushing prop is a very good one.
His rushing yards?
No, his touchdown rushing prop.
Okay.
Last I checked, it was plus 120 at Max Duggan to score a touchdown.
Max Duggan plus 120. Stetson Bennett plus 130. I love the Max Duggan play here.
I'm with you. I love that plus 120 there.
Especially if they get down to the goal line.
Yeah.
Ever since what happened in the Big 12 championship game, they're always going to run him in the QB sneak at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think he's going to be running a lot this game.
Yeah.
So I just like my odds there.
I also like you could throw something on Quentin Johnson, Brock Bowers, obviously. I mean, the odds are getting lower and lower, but
yeah.
another
Bowers was
one.
at like plus 115. Now he's
Right.
like plus or minus 185.
Another one, my guy, Jared Wiley, plus 600. He got a touchdown against Michigan last week. He's that guy. I'm telling you, he's that guy that when he's in trouble, he's going to have to look for him, and especially down in distance. In the red zone, in the two goal situation where they're not right on the line. I think he's the outlet guy to get a touchdown. So I like putting a little bit on Jared Wiley plus 600. Also, like TCU defense plus 430.
Ooh, that's
TCU,
different.
yeah, I think they're gonna have to expose Stetson Bennett early, and I think that's how you do it. It might be the first offensive possession for Georgia that they just step in front of a pass and take it back for a pick six.
Cody, this is one of those spots where I'm going to clip this and share it if this happens.
You have to, because
you just said it just in case that clip happens.
Exactly, because it has to happen. Looking at rushing props, not really anything I really want to look at. You have Stetson Bennett over 14.5. I think that'll hit. Max Duggan over 30.5.
Love that.
That has a chance.
I love that.
Kenny McIntosh 63.5, and then Dwan Edwards.
I like 49.5. Well.
I think he's not the starter. I think their starting running back may be injured. He tried to play against Michigan. I know that. Where did I have that up? Yeah, Kendre Miller is their starter. He's not listed, so I assume he's not playing. So that could hurt. But their offensive line's pretty damn good, so.
No, I do like Edwards over, what did you say, 49.5?
Yeah, 49.5 for Dwan Edwards. Defensive props. Do I want to call my shot?
Go ahead.
Should I say Travius Hodges Tomlinson's going to be the one with the pick six? It's plus 550.
Might as well just say it.
That's who I think is going to do it. Either him or Clark, the safety. Because I think Clark had the one against Michigan. But hey, it's my birthday today. I'm gonna be throwing money around. It would have really helped. Would have really helped if I made more money yesterday, Sunday, and didn't lose any. But
it happens.
It happens. Is there any other bets? We got popular bets, 2 or more touchdown scorers. You might have that. TCU total points is at 24.5. I like the over there. I like them to score at least 28. They're going to score 4 touchdowns.
I don't know if I love that.
I like over 24.5.
I don't know if I do.
But anyway, let's get back to this. The game, the pick. Who will be our national champion for this year? Tyler, I think we already know you're going with Georgia.
Yeah, I'm going Georgia minus 13. I just can't. I'm going. My official pick for the national championship is going to be Georgia minus 13 and over 63.5. Is that what it says?
Yeah, 63.5. I also like over 63.5. I also love the Hypnotoads plus 13. I have them plus 13.5. I also have them money line plus 450. And I will be putting a cool $100 on them money line plus 360 tomorrow. Or today, sorry.
All right. We'll see how it plays out.
I mean, anytime I've ever watched a football game or a national championship for that matter, I've always loved the underdog. It's worked out for me betting wise once. I'm looking forward to work out again.
Well, in my heart of hearts, I will be rooting for your bet, but my wallet will be on the side of Georgia.
And I fully understand that. But yeah, so that's my pick. TCU plus 360 here, plus 13 and a half. I just don't see how they don't keep it close with the grit that they have, with the no quit attitude they have. If they show that Hypnotoad in SoFi, it's over. The game's over. That's literally what happened at the Fiesta Bowl. They showed the Hypnotoad and there was no looking back.
Yeah, it's just at the point I don't think they have the horses. I think the storybook ends here.
All right. Well, that's our picks. That's the episode. This is how we're going to end the college football season. These are our penultimate picks.
That's all, folks.
So we'll revisit these, I guess, via Twitter. Well, if there are things to be clipped, they will be clipped. Whether I am being drugged through the mud on the internet or I'm being praised for my predictions of Tre'Davious, what's his name? It's hyphenated.
There's a hyphen, I forget already.
He's also he's a first team All-American as well. Travius Hodges Tomlinson to score pick six. Plus 550 and then plus 430. I don't know if I can parlay that. I probably can't. I'll go to the teller and I'll be like, parlay this, and they'll say no. And I'll
Probably
say
not.
I'll say you just don't want to give me money.
Yeah, that's it.
So we'll see what happens. I'm very excited. This is one of my favorite days of the year. This is like the Super Bowl is my Christmas, and this is Christmas Eve.
Yeah, this is just kind of like Thanksgiving for me. When the Ohio State's not in it, it's just kind of a day. I'll watch.
I mean, hey, when you're a guy like me who I didn't really have a team to root for growing up, I didn't live in Ohio, so I didn't like the Ohio teams. All I had was Pitt and Tyler Palko.
Yeah.
Who may or may not be my cousin also. I don't know. That's just how we roll in PA.
I got my Youngstown State Penguins.
We got to get the Penguins to the Natty.
They were in when I was in college.
Right. Sure they were.
They were. No, they actually did make it to the Natty when I was in college.
The FCS?
Yeah, the FCS.
Oh.
Yeah, Bo Pelini took them there.
Nice. Very nice. So that's all we got. We'll see what happens. This is way longer than I thought it was going to be. Thought it was going to be like a nice 25-minute pod, but I'm just so passionate about those Hypnotoads.
You are. You're a Hypnotoad turd.
All right. Thanks for joining us, folks, and enjoy the Natty.
Peace out, Scouts.